The 2002 to 2006 Infiniti Q45, a forgotten flagship sedan for sure. And a lot of that has to do with the Infiniti M sedan, because Infiniti really just updated the 02 to 03 Q45 simply because, well, 2003 was a big year for Infiniti. That's when they introduced the new G35 and the new M series sedans. And when they came out with that M35/45, that really was meant to take over the Q45, but this car was still around and it lasted all the way up to 06. So make no mistake, technically speaking, the Q45 was the big body, full-size sedan that Infiniti had to offer between these model years. So in this video, I am going to cover some basic specs, and then I'm going to go into some interesting facts that you probably did not know regarding this car. And then finally, we can end off on the various model year changes that happened between 02 to 06. Okay, let's get started here. 2002, the car obviously got fully redesigned. In fact, Infiniti claims that over 24 enhancements were made to this flagship car, and we have here an all-steel unibody with a 40% increase in torsional rigidity compared to the previous generation that this car replaces. Dimensionally, the Q45 had a wheelbase of 113 inches, and just to give you some context, the car simply did not stack up on paper really, because the 2003 Infiniti G35 came out, and the G35 sedan had a wheelbase of 112.2 inches, which is very similar to this flagship Q45. And as we all know, the G35 is meant to compete with things like the BMW 3 Series, the C-Class Mercedes, and the A4 Audi. Yet that entry-level Infiniti product had a wheelbase that was nearly as large as this Q45. And the total length of the Q45 was 199.6 inches long total. So physically, from the outside, it was definitely a large car, definitely a big body car, as many people would like to call it, flagship. And the coefficient of drag was 0.3. You know, despite this car not adding up on paper as much, I really don't care, because this car is so cool, it's so interesting and forgotten that if you were to drive around in this car today, that's cool in my opinion. But let's continue. Let's talk about the power plant here. This vehicle utilized the 4.5 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine, producing 340 horsepower and 333 pounds-feet of torque. Now, Infiniti claimed that this is more horsepower than most of its V8 competitors, such as the Lexus LS430, the Mercedes E430, and the BMW 540/745. Once again, this car is kind of competing against both the mid-size luxury sedans as well as the full-size LS 7 Series S-Class type cars as well. But I'll talk more about that V8 engine a little bit later. Now, this was all mated to a 5-speed automatic transmission with a manual shift mode. The suspension architecture on this car, surprisingly, this vehicle did not utilize double wishbones in the front. We actually had a independent strut front suspension, and then we had a multi-link rear suspension. So most of the cars in this segment, the mid-size and definitely the full-size luxury sedans, would typically utilize a double wishbone setup. This did not. But just so you know, the four-wheel independent suspension was completely redesigned for 2002. And those are the basic specs that I wanted to cover. Let's go ahead and let's talk about some of those interesting facts now. Okay, the first fact I want to go over is in regards to the engine. The VK45DE is based on technology that is used in the award-winning VQ series V6 engines that are utilized in cars like the Infiniti G35, the i35, and the QX4. We have here titanium valves, modular cylinder heads, micro-finished crankshaft, lightweight pistons, a super silent single-stage cam-driven chain, and a hydraulically driven cooling fan that are all optimized for maximum performance while maintaining low noise levels. The second interesting fact I want to talk about is in regards to the headlights. If you didn't know, the Q45 for this generation, when it first came out 02/03, apparently it had the most powerful headlight system in the world. The car utilized a large multi-lens projector high intensity discharge, or HID, headlights. It had 7 individual lenses and a free surface reflector design that combines to provide a wide distribution beam pattern utilizing a large luminous flux. And this is what creates the most powerful headlight system in the world according to Infiniti. And because the beam area is wide enough, that meant that fog lights were not necessary with the Q45. Interesting fact there for sure. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is in regards to the Bose audio system. The Q45s came with a 300-watt premium Bose sound system, and it features 8 speakers with a 12-inch woofer. And for this generation, what they did was they moved the CD player to the center console, and they took the cassette deck and they moved that into the glove box, which is pretty smart. But the thing I want to highlight here is the Bose audio system. Another reason why the Q45 kind of got axed and the reason why the M series took over is because, well, obviously Infiniti put more care and development, I guess, into the all-new M series sedans. But the M35 and the M45 got the highest quality, most powerful version of the Bose audio system for this era. So as you can see, even though the Q45 was technically the flagship car, the M actually got better features. And actually the M sedans got a lot of flagship-like features, such as reclining rear seats if you got a particular package with the M cars, which this Q45 also comes with, but that's expected out of the Q45. But as you can see, that M car was adopting a lot of these flagship-like characteristics as well, and it's another reason why it took over. But yeah, Q45 definitely great in terms of options for this new generation. Heated seats came standard with the base model. 17-inch wheels were also offered with the base model versions of the Q45 on 225 wide tires, but the premium model was where it was at. Not only did you get 18-inch wheels, but it came with a whole host of fantastic features, and I'll cover what the Q45 premium model came with right now. It had a long list of luxurious amenities, including the RJ adjustable suspension, the 18-inch wheels, as I already mentioned, and you were able to get them in 2 different finishes. You could have gotten the titanium color wheels, or you could have gotten the chrome colored wheels. And these 18-inch wheels, it was wrapped in 245 wide tires. Additional features with the premium model was the rear view monitor, the rear power sunshade, and the manual rear door sunshades. You also had the climate controlled front seats. The climate controlled front seats, they were heated and cooled with the perforated leather inserts. You got the navigation system with the 7-inch screen as opposed to the 5.8-inch screen if you just got the regular base model. Q45 premium model also came with the intelligent cruise control, satellite radio, auto open / close trunk, and you also got heated power reclining rear seats with memory. Very nice premium feature for sure. You got the rear controls for the audio and the HVAC and the rear HVAC vents, and these are all the features that you got with the premium model. So as you can see, that's where it was at. But on top of the luxury model, you could also get the Journey package, which essentially it gives you 17-inch wheels again, but it comes wrapped in run flat tires. So the hatred for run flat tires pretty much stems from these early 2000s cars. Tire technology has come a long way, and run flat tires today don't really suck that badly anymore. In fact, it's certainly tolerable. It's only marginally worse than regular tires. But back then in the early 2000s, this is what most people remember. I don't mind rocking run flat tires with today's tire technology. It's totally fine. And I just like the fact that the front driver's seat was 10-way adjustable, the passenger seat was 8-way adjustable with memory, and we also had dual zone automatic climate control. I mean, these are just great features to have even today, right? I think most people would agree with that. I'll go over a few more interesting facts, then we can go into the various model year changes. Okay, for the 2002 model year, the transmission was definitely retuned and retweaked. It now came with a new higher numerical final drive gear ratio for better acceleration feel. In regards to safety, the headrests were designed to reduce whiplash, and we also had available laser-based intelligent cruise control. So that was one of the features I mentioned with the premium package, but this was back when the technology was laser-based. Now we have a more reliable and more accurate camera-based intelligent cruise control setup, but this is what they had back then. Still a cool feature to have. And finally, the car was indeed assembled in Japan. Let's go ahead and let's transition over into the various model year changes. Okay, 2002, that's when the car first got introduced as this body style. And 2003, there weren't really any crazy changes going on. Yeah, the optional satellite radio, it's now being offered along with some equipment packages. Apparently 2004 was the year where the 5-speed automatic transmission got revised to introduce the manual shift mode, and the rear view backup camera now comes standard. 2005, pretty big year. We got updated exterior styling, some new LED taillights. Inside, the Q45 now features a sport contour double stitch seat with a new instrument cluster, along with some metal trimmed shifter bezels. You also have metal knobs and a dark maple wood. And by the way, all the wood and the metal, it's all real wood, real metal being used in these Infiniti products for the interiors. The transmission got retweaked for 2005. It's supposed to have better response, and the performance tuned active dampening suspension that was only available before on the premium level is now standard for all of the Q45s in 2005. And the base models now get a new 17-inch wheel design. We also have other enhancements that include the standard rain and speed sensing wipers, a revised DVD-based navigation system, which is now standard, and a new brake-operated pre-crash front seat belt, which now tighten under emergency braking. So definitely some nice features being introduced in 2005. And 2006, the final model year of the Q45, was also an important year because in 2006, we have a new sport variant. Now this version of the Q45 comes with active rear steer system. We also have a more sport tuned suspension with 19-inch wheels that look very good. Once again, they updated the 5-speed automatic transmission again with a wider gear spacing and downshift rev matching feature. We have here standard Bluetooth connectivity and the addition of a lane departure warning system for the optional premium package models. And those are all the changes between the 02 to 06 Infiniti Q45. If you want to buy this car today, good luck, because once I filtered out all the clapped out models and car gurus, there is literally only like 3 Q45s of this generation available, which is pretty sad because this is such a cool car. I know during that time everyone was focused on competing vehicles and the other new Infiniti products that just dropped, like the G35, the M35, and the M45 cars. But to me, the Q45, it was always that cool, forgotten, underrated flagship car. So once again, let me know in the comment section if you would rock this car. And if you're an owner of this car, definitely leave your thoughts and how it's been holding up for you. And if you've had any issues with the car, leave that below as well. Thanks again for watching. I'll have my next video regarding the M sedan on the end screen here. Click on it and I will see you there.